Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is a Thursday edition of the Matt Murphy Radio Show at 5:07. Glad you are with us, whether in your homes, your automobiles, your places of business, or some point in between. We thank you for your participation. Thank you for listening to the show. We've got Extended Friday coming up in just a second on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Excited about that. Nincompoops in the news a little bit later on. Our good friend Holly from Savory Spice will answer any and all of your Turkey Day questions, your Thanksgiving Day questions, anything about food. That is up in the 6 o'clock hour of the show tonight. And then I will call it an evening, and we will call it a weekend. Cameron Smith's in with you tomorrow from 3 until 7 o'clock. Y'all be nice to him. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can do so on the super text line. I am technically deficient at. You ever see one of those? You ever go to the park there, Jackson? You ever go to the park, Jackson? You just go to the park, just sit on the park bench, just watch, the activity in the park. You ever do that? Are you going to participate in the show today, Jackson?
I am.
Okay, are you all right over there?
I'm fine.
I feel like this goes directly. Your response, the way you responded, goes directly to the point I was about to make. You go to the park, and you sit down on the park bench, and there's a lovely little pond out there, right? There's a nice little pond, and you see the ducks, and they're just gliding. They're gliding effortlessly, it seems, across the pond. You know what's going on right beneath the surface of the water? Their little flippers are furiously flipping. And I feel like that's the show today. That Jackson is furiously flipping his little flippers to make sure that the show is seemingly going off without a hitch. But technically, the gremlins are trying to circumvent that. But we're not going to allow it to happen. They tried to do it with Fry J, and we had an alternate plan, and we executed the alternate plan by getting Jay on the phone lines, where he remains to answer any and all of your questions. So, Jay, you get my analogy, right? The little flippers are going right beneath the surface of the water. You know what I'm talking about.
No, that was actually me at the bar right during that break. The bar opens at 5. The martini bar opens at 5 o'clock, and I appeared calm, but the martini-making hands were working feverishly like duck feet.
Well, I mean, I guess that's another way of putting it. Well, one way or the other, the bar is open, ladies and gentlemen. So when the bar opens, the legal advice gets even more expensive. What's double a zero, Jay?
What's the old song? Nothing from nothing leaves nothing.
Amen. Well, but enough about our craps table tomorrow night. Anyway, Glenda is next up with a tax question for Jay. Glenda, good afternoon. You're on with Extended Friday. Hey, Glenda. That was a big build-up. Hey, how are you?
I'm great, and I actually don't have a question. I want to address the gentleman that called and said his 2023 taxes had not been filed.
Mm-hmm.
According to IRS Circular 231, any paid taxpayer is not allowed to refuse to return any documents provided to them to file a tax return, or they can be censured or even actually, they will no longer do taxes. Okay?
No, absolutely. They got to give them the stuff back, Linda. You're exactly right.
Legally, they cannot keep those.
Yeah.
The other thing, I have to apologize to him because I actually work for H&R Block as well in Murfreesboro.
Oh.
And if he could give me a call and reach out to me, I would be happy to go in and take a look at what documents that were used to file his tax returns and give him an idea of why he has this balance.
You are so nice. Do you mind saying the number for the office that you're located in?
Yeah.
The best way to reach me is at 615-849-1558. I mean, we have 6 offices in Murfreesboro. That's my home office. He just has to ask for Glenda.
Glenda. Okay.
He called Glenda.
I've got the number, and if the gentleman is still listening, if he calls us back, Glenda, I will give him that number, and hopefully we can make all of this right. That's really, really good of you. Thank you for calling.
No, this is how it works.
I feel really bad that he kind of was left hanging with not really understanding why. maybe he had this balance, and maybe some advice that he could be given as to not allow this to happen again.
Well, you're doing the Lord's work, Glenda.
Thank you, Glenda.
Well, no, my job is to keep the money in the hands of the people that make it and not the hands of the man.
Well, good for you.
That's why I do what I do.
Good for you.
As far as the issue between an estate or a trust and a will, I will let you know this. You do a trust, and a lot of times that income is taxed at 37%. Whereas if you allow this to go through the whole probate process, whatever the man owned land and I guess property, the basis for that property is whatever the value of that property is when they pass. So if he has a piece of property
step up, right? The basis will step up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if when this person passes, and it's worth $100,000, and they turn around and they sell it for $110,000, they're only going to have $10,000 of taxable gain to share between all the beneficiaries. Whereas you don't have that, like was said, the stepped up basis. So there's a lot of tax savings. Of course, there's still the issue of the one spouse taking all the money and not sharing it between all the kids.
Why don't you and I just become radio partners, and why don't you just come on with
Hey,
me?
hold on.
The Jay and Glenda Show. Hold
on a second. Jay's cutting me out of this deal, Glenda.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. No, listen, it's all in good fun. And thank you for the advice, and thank you for the offer. And I hope that the gentleman is still listening. And I've got your number, and so when he calls in, I'll be able to get him your number, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, too, Glenda. I appreciate that. That's very kind. That's good of her.
Sweet.
Let's see. Brian. No, it's Larry's turn. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for taking my call. Thanks for holding us over. Thanks, Jay, for staying over. First of all, can someone be held responsible for wanting their first ex-wife to get eaten by a great white shark?
Oh, gee.
Secondly, can someone be held responsible if any information from the SPLC did not make it into their home when they were married to a young liberal attorney? But the reason I called is, why would this administration hire an attorney to do a criminal prosecution on James Comey when she's never tried a criminal case in her life? And now it looks like this all may just go by the wayside, according to the judge. And does that mean just that Comey gets a free pass? Can he ever be tried again for this by a different attorney, or does he qualify under double indemnity?
Here's what I would say about all that. Nobody is perfect, Larry. Trump came in a windstorm. I've never seen in my life any president come in with an attack plan as robust and quick as his. And it's kind of like Desert Storm. You remember Norman, Shock and Awe? Remember all that?
Mm-hmm.
A Storm in Norman Schwarzkopf. And that's kind of what Trump has done. And so they're not going to be perfect. They're going to make mistakes. They've made some. This goomer that was being deported, they were getting deported, I think, to El Salvador, where they missed the fact that the judge said you can deport him, but not to El Salvador. So they're not perfect, Larry. They're making mistakes. And I think the one you're talking about right here may be one of them. They're just doing so much so fast, and that's just what happens.
So there is a chance Comey could just walk away from this.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that. I mean, a lot of them. The judicial system is not perfect, but it's pretty good, and they try to get justice served. And there's this. What's the saying in the law? That a criminal should not go free because the constable blundered.
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty well ingrained in the law. And you know they've already tried to fix this. Larry General Bondi signed an order or a paper saying that she is stepping in and doing this as the Attorney General. So, but yeah, it's not perfect. It's a mistake, and will it be a fatal mistake? We'll see. But Larry, nobody bats 1,000. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, I know. And Jay, I truly appreciate you and you doing this time on the show every week. You're one of the favorite segments on this show. Even with Matt, you're the favorite segment. So.
Easy.
Well, I do it because of your dogs.
Well, listen, I just want to say for you and, your producer, go Vols.
Oh, dear.
There you go, Matt.
Thanks, Larry. Go.
Thanks, Larry.
They're going. They're going to Florida. They're going to Gainesville.
Well, you didn't hear me say anything about it.
Let's get to Brian, who is next up. Brian, what you got?
How you doing, guys?
Good.
Sitting there doing 5 miles an hour on 440 West, just enjoying the evening drive.
Oh, that makes me feel good about my drive on 440 West. No, I won't be on 440. I'll be on 40, so hopefully mine will be all right.
Okay. I'm about to get there, and it is not looking much better. Got a musician question for you. Like everybody else in Nashville, play with a band here in town. Last year, upgraded my sound system, spent about $18,000 on the sound system, and which means the band's going to end up taking a loss. I do file a Schedule C, and I do 1099 all the band members. My accountant, whom I trust very, very much, is telling me that I should not take that entire loss, that $18,000 loss. He's saying I should split it up over 3 or 4 years.
Right.
I just like your thoughts on that.
You know, it depends on how much income you have. Because the only reason to do that really is if it puts you in a different tax bracket, Brian. So I'd have to know, and I'm not going to ask you about your income, but it's tax shelter. Just think of it as a tax shelter. You didn't structure it that way, but if you got losses. See, what he's maybe thinking is, you know what, you're going to do better in next year and the year after because of Trump. I'm certainly betting on Trump. And so he's saying, you know what, let's shelter this income next year because you're probably going to be in a higher tax bracket. And so this deduction, in effect, is what it is, will be worth more to you next year and the year after than it is this year. So I get the reason for it, and it's very common to do that, to carry forward losses, because if you didn't have a lot of income this year, let's say you're in the 20% tax bracket. Well, I mean, what about next year? You're in the 32% tax bracket. You'd rather shelter that income when you're in a higher tax bracket than a lower tax bracket. So, I mean, here's the answer to your question is, how much money are you going to make 2 years from now? Right? I mean, that's what this is all about. If you think you're going to make more money next year and the year after than you make this year, then absolutely, I'd carry those losses forward.
Fair enough.
Now,
all right.
Now, if Glenda calls in...
And what happens if Glenda says something different?
Jay, I'm a tax expert, and I think I would do it this way. Then I'd listen to Glenda.
Well, or you know what you could do, Brian? You call Glenda at 615-849-1558. I bet she's taking a bunch of calls right now. Brian, thank you for the call. I'm going to try to get to one more before we have to say goodbye to Jay and wrap up an extended edition of Friday on Thursday. And it's Danny that gets the last call. Danny, you're up with Jay St. Clair. What's on your mind?
Well, Lord, I didn't figure you'd take my call. Mr. Matt, I appreciate everything, your thoughts and opinions on things.
Yes,
I really
sir.
do. But I hate to say this. I'm actually calling for Mr. J, the doctor of law, his opinion on something.
Well, that's what this segment's for, brother.
Exactly. And this is a hot topic right now in the news. This is about the military. That's a half serious question, half joking. But does he have any advice for some people that may possibly in a couple of years be looking for a civilian attorney to after they get out of Leavenworth, to determine whether they disobeyed a lawful or unlawful order in the military. And you know any politicians that might be there to represent them?
Danny, here's my answer to that. The 21st century has not turned out like I thought it would. Number one is I don't have my Jetson car yet. Number two, I never thought I would hear sitting members of Congress telling service members to disregard orders. I never thought that would happen.
No.
And I've lived a long time and seen a lot of things, but I've never seen that.
I didn't know if you had legal advice for them or not.
Well, I'd say this.
They'll be looking for a civilian attorney.
Well, I think this. I don't think what these politicians have said will change the behavior of any service member. Any service member that was going to follow their orders is going to follow them.
Well, I'd agree.
Anybody that wasn't going to follow them, this is all theater.
It's all performance. That's right.
It's all performance. It's absolutely all performance.
It still annoys me, but it's all performance. Danny, thank you for your call. Jay, before you go, one final question. At what time during the symposium does your guest believe that he or you will hit your first hard 10?
Well, I'll say this. It won't happen while we're sober.
No, see, the rules
because
are...
I don't bet the hard way
look,
when I'm sober.
My rule is... There's as a friend, as a wingman, I am there to prevent Jay from doing the hard ways until I can do it no longer.
Yeah, no, it's a sucker bet. It's absolutely a sucker bet. And I only do it when I'm up and liquored up.
Well, Jay, be safe, my friend. Thank you for the extended time, and I look forward to this weekend, brother.
Man, I love you, man. I can't wait to spend some time with you. We're going to howl. Every now and then, man, you just got to howl at the moon.
Every once in a while, you got to howl at the moon. That's right.
Well, we're going to do some howling this weekend.
Take care, Jay. There's Jay St. Clair. There's our man on Friday, 24 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up, a little Nincompoops in the news. We'll do some turkey talk. We'll get you caught up on everything that's going on in the news with Ken Weaver, and I'll opine on said same next. You know, I told y'all that when all of these blanket pardons were going out on the Jan 6 stuff, that some of it might be a mistake, that some of these people deserve to serve a little jail time for what they did on Jan 6. Common sense got lost. Common sense got completely lost. I understand that some of these folks were overcharged. I get that. You know, Stuart Parks. Stuart Parks is a good example. Overcharged, completely overcharged. We've had Stuart on the show in the past. Maccabee, overcharged, in my opinion. But some of these folks were not overcharged, and some of them that were pardoned were not good people, as evidenced by this story that was sent to me by a listener, Andrew Paul Johnson, 44 years of age, who was pardoned by the president for his participation in January 6th, has now pleaded not guilty to crimes of child sex abuse. The man who took part in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was pardoned by President Trump earlier this year, has been arrested on multiple child sex abuse charges in Florida. The man, identified as Andrew Paul Johnson, taken into custody August in Tennessee, extradited to Florida, where, according to arrest records, he faces charges of lewd and lascivious child molestation of a child under the age of 12. The charges reported by The Intercept earlier this week. Records show Johnson's being held at the Hernando County Detention Center in Spring Hill. I was trying to see here where he was found in Tennessee. Report alleges Johnson, well, I won't get into some of the details, but suffice it to say that an individual deserves his day in court, but if found guilty, he needs to be put under the jail and remain there for a long time, if not forever. Once again, they were not all the people that were present and accounted for in Washington, D.C. on January 6th were not good people. I mean, they just weren't. And some of them probably did not need to be pardoned I was against the idea of blanket pardons for these Jan 6 protesters, and I said so at the time. 38 minutes after the hour. By the way, have you looked at I know you have, Ken Weaver. Have y'all looked at Jackson? You looked at the map over there?
I have, and I'm grateful I'm not driving home right now.
Good. Yeah. I mean, it's not – look, I don't pretend that I look every single day, but it's not always this bad. And there's red everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, sir.
The loop, red, solid red. You know, I like to – if you look at a map of Nashville, I like to do – you look at a map of Nashville. If y'all watching on Talk TV, you do it with me now. Think of a map of Nashville's in front of you and then put your thumb up. And the tip of your thumb is the loop. And then the left side of your thumb is 65, and the right side of your thumb is 24. That's the way I think of it.
Where's 40?
It runs in the middle.
40's right in the middle. 40's
east and west bound.
I don't have that many. I can do that. You want me to do that? Yeah, it's like you're a vampire.
I mean, 24 is considered east and westbound too, but it's kind of more northeast and southeast.
Yeah, where we are here. Yeah, yes. But anyway, you put the thumb there, and the 40's going this way, and the Jackson 440 makes a little smiley face. If you think of Nashville, it's a little smiley face under Nashville.
There ain't nobody smiling on 440 right now.
Not right now, baby, because it is bad news. So, I mean, if you think of that thumb that I just described, every bit of that thumb is red. The loop's red, 65's red, 40's red, 440's red, 24's red. Briley Parkway's red. There's a wreck on Briley Parkway. So I'm just so sorry for those of you in traffic. And all I can tell you is that odds are, unless it's ice cream, it'll be there when you get there. Unless it's ice cream.
Then you're probably screwed.
And then you're probably screwed. 615-737-9986. If you want to get involved, we're going to involve ourselves with Thanksgiving talk coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. But right now, it's time for Nincompooppery. That's right. Time for Nincompoops of the News. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My goodness, I've got to figure out a different way to do all of this stuff. I can't do everything at once. It's putting me in a bad mood. I can't. So God bless you. If you're waiting outside, we'll get to you in just a moment. We just don't have the staff to come down and get you right now. Our guests for the 6 o'clock hour are already here. So it's time for Nincompoops in the News. Who won yesterday? I think I did.
No, you didn't. Ken won.
What are you talking about? You never say
go
I
ahead,
won.
Ken.
Jackson, did you count?
I counted.
Did you do an honest count?
I did an honest count.
I
don't think mine was that good.
Ken, you won. Go ahead.
Jackson says go, Ken.
I have no idea who won. I'm just guessing Ken.
I think I won, but whatever.
You can go ahead, Brother Murphy.
I don't know that I got to win a story one way or the other, but here we go. This story intrigues me, maybe because I might be looking for a house here soon. The Pennsylvania Superior Court has ruled last Wednesday that the seller of a home did not have to inform potential buyers of hate symbols embedded in the property. This comes after a Beaver County family. I love it. I'd love to live in Beaver County, wouldn't you? A Beaver County family filed a lawsuit when they found a swastika. Do I pronounce that word correctly, Ken?
Swastika.
There's no H there.
There's no H. So
swastika.
Swastika.
Yes, sir.
Well, they found one, and what appeared to be a German war eagle tiled under rugs and a table on the basement floor. Homeowner Lynn Ray Wentworth said that the court had a chance to publicly denounce these symbols of hate. We have to start as a community, as Pennsylvanians, standing up and saying, this is not right, Wentworth said. I think there is a missed opportunity by the judiciary to legitimize the offensiveness that these symbols bring when put into context with what has happened in history. The court decided symbols tiled into Wentworth's basement home were not, quote, material defects that the seller needed to disclose prior to purchase. The judiciary said the defect must be one that not only substantially impacts the value of the real estate, but lends itself to recognition and quantification by objective standards. They look back at previous rulings when a seller did not disclose. This is what got me. So they compared this to a time when someone sold a home and did not disclose that a murder-suicide had happened in the home. Determining the buyer of that home, once they found out, said that it caused great, quote, psychological damage that could not be measured monetarily. But the courts ruled that it did not impact a property's quality or safety. In this case, the court said Wentworth can cover the tiles with paint, just as any homeowner can make renovations to a house. Wentworth, it's a lot to have to deal with getting them removed. We had to get a jackhammer out. The court added, certainly a significant portion of homebuyers would dismiss a house with a crude mosaic of Nazi iconography.
There you go.
There we go. Third time's a charm. In its basement. Yet there is, sadly but undeniably, a segment of the population that would deem it an asset to the property. So the court, I think, is ruling properly here. The nincompoop in my story is this lady. So the court's like, look, let the buyer beware. Caveat emptor. You got to check the property out, lady. And this wasn't a material defect that they did not disclose. This was just some awful symbology. And what the court's saying is, look, sad to say, but some people would like that.
And it's not going to make the brochure.
I promise you, it's not going to make, you're not going to see that on Zillow.
And here in the basement, we have our propaganda.
Our war room. No, they're not going to do that. Court records said the seller argued the symbol was, quote, a popular design on greeting cards, soft drinks, and sports uniforms in the 1920s. No, this is the funny. This is
it was.
Oh no, this is yes, that's true. Well, the Nazi symbol was a symbol of peace. It was co-opted by the Nazis, and they completely ruined it. But it was.
That's got to be a tough scene for the guy who made it.
Was it Indian or Hindu, something like that? I don't know what it was, but y'all can look it up. There are swastikas. If you go to Jefferson County, Alabama, in Birmingham, Alabama, on the Jefferson County Courthouse, which was built in the 1920s, there are swastikas on the courthouse.
They didn't cover them up?
They haven't sandblasted. I don't know why they don't, but they haven't.
I think, probably about 1949, you're probably like,
maybe we should, maybe they stole this one from us. But so this dude said, hey, these were popular in the 20s. And they said, well, when did you install them? The 70s? Wentworth said she hasn't decided whether she's going to appeal. She has just under 30 days. She's an nincompoop. Just jackhammer that crap up, put a rug over it, and be done with it. That's what I say. That's my nincompoop in the news.
Hit it, Brother Jackson.
All righty. Cops rescue large tortoise from drug house in Florida.
Aw.
Along with felony narcotics counts, a Florida woman has been charged with animal cruelty after cops executing a search warrant found a large tortoise living among piles of trash and debris in her property, court records show. The raid Tuesday on the Clearwater home of Olivia Merrick's was triggered by the suspect's prior sale of ecstasy to an undercover officer, according to police who termed her residence a known drug house used to store and sell narcotics. Investigators seized cocaine, ecstasy, and DMP, a so-called designer drug, during the search. After being read her rights, Merrick's reportedly admitted that narcotics sales occurred at the home, which she had control of following the death of her grandfather.
Oh.
While going through the residence, police found the tortoise in a trash-strewn room, which had no roof and was failing as a structure. There was no signs of food or water supply provided for the tortoise. The reptile had been living for more than 10 years at the home and was left by the deceased homeowner. The size and age of the tortoise is not detailed in police records. The tortoise, seen below, was turned over to the custody of the Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Pictured above, Merrick's was arrested on 2 felony narcotics charges as well as misdemeanor counts of operating a drug house and animal cruelty. She is locked up in lieu of $21,000 bond. Merrick's has a prior convictions for disorderly conduct and theft. In 2022, she was arrested in front of her home for possessing crack cocaine and marijuana, though prosecutors subsequently declined to pursue charges.
My goodness. I feel bad for the tortoise.
Well, the tortoise is better now. It's at the aquarium.
That's nice. I wonder what the tortoise would be like on cocaine.
Probably bite your finger off.
Beat that hair, I bet.
Yeah. I bet you would.
We beat the hair in the story.
I understand. That's because the hair was stupid and went to sleep.
Well, sometimes you need a nap.
Lollygagged.
Might take a nap in the 6 o'clock hour.
Don't lollygag. By the way, I'm being told I was DQ'd because Chris Hand did the front end of that story when I was out for surgery. I think that's been long enough. This is an update to a previously
Chris
done
didn't do
Nincom-
that story.
That's what I was
I've never
told.
heard that story
This
before.
is updated. It's updated story.
I mean, it's updated.
That's fair.
I mean, that's a fair thing, right? If they,
Although-
even if he did it on the front end, it's updated on the back end. They ruled.
Weaver,
Yes, sir.
we could use this as an opportunity to get Murphy out of here.
Ken, why don't you go ahead and do your story and beat us fair and square?
Boys, I think I found a really good source for naked stories. This here story's out of Thailand again.
Oh, right.
Oh, no, Ken.
Apparently, people are going to Thailand and they're taking things.
Ken, you're the news director of this radio station. You didn't know that?
Well, I did after I watched that hungover movie, Hangover.
Watch out. You
I
get a
thought they were in China.
You get a tattoo, man. I don't know.
Naked foreigner disrupts traffic, detained at Pattaya intersection. A state of confusion gripped a busy Pattaya intersection as a nude foreign man caused significant disruption, leading to a swift police response. This guy, estimated to be around 40 years old, seemed completely unclothed. He was striking passing vehicles. Authorities arrived promptly at the scene to manage the escalating situation. Remember the story yesterday? How they just let the guy kind of run around and do his things, go in and out of the apartment. Then he actually lit a fire outside the apartment. Well, here police arrive again, and they're just managing the situation. Eyewitnesses described the man as tall and of an unconfirmed nationality.
Huh.
At one point, standing with his arms outstretched and appearing to chant toward the sun. The unusual spectacle left both local residents and international tourists in a state of bewilderment. Upon engaging with the individual, police determined he was incoherent and likely under the influence of an unknown substance. Given his unstable condition, officers took him into custody, transported him to a nearby hospital for a thorough medical and psychological evaluation. The event has since ignited broader discussions regarding the recurring challenges that law enforcement face in Thailand with similar public disturbances in major tourist destinations. So do you go to Thailand to take mushrooms or acid or something?
People go to Thailand to do things that they're not allowed to do anywhere else.
Really?
Yes.
So it's legal there?
I presume.
Because that's kind of what I'm gathering, because in both of these stories, authorities arrive to manage the situation.
Yes. Not to arrest and not to, manage, to try to get everything under control. I believe Thailand is a fairly hands-off type of culture. I'm going to go ahead and quote 4859 here, Ken.
Yes, sir.
When they say, Ken, stay away from Thailand, they got lady boys. I think that says it all.
Remember that Hangover 2? Was that the one with?
I never saw it. I didn't see the sequels. I saw the first. I never saw the sequels.
Dude,
I looked it up. They go to Thailand.
It's on the edge where it just was almost.
Didn't somebody lose a finger?
Yes.
Yes.
See, that's why I didn't watch it, because it was just a repeat of the first one.
Oh, we got to do our movie Mayhem.
I don't know that we should do that. Let's talk about it next hour. I think we should suspend movie Mayhem until after Thanksgiving.
Why?
Because I don't want to be accused of not doing my job. And I don't think I'm watching a movie this weekend. Back in a moment.